let's take a leap of faith. Our next speaker, Vishwajit, is actually going to talk about AI. Isn't that the fortunate slash unfortunate theme for the industry, the world, even our grandparents today, right? So, Vishwa, over to you. Enjoy the talk. Take the leap of faith.
Am I audible? Yeah. Yeah. So before starting, as he said, like I'm going to talk about AI, and everywhere you are seeing AI continuously. This is typically a picture where, since our childhood, we have been traumatized by AI, saying that this will be our futures in the like going ahead if you don't control the AI's powers. So before jumping onto our talk, I have few questions for you. First, how many here write Ruby every day? Great. Second, how many secretly also write Python? Okay. And the most important, how many equate AI equal to Python? Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah. How many equates AI equal to Python? Yeah, 1 or 2 people, 3, yeah. Okay, so this talk is going to be slightly different from like, I'm not going to talk about Python in here. It's more over like, since it's a RubyCon, so I should talk about Ruby. But before jumping onto that thing, let's understand some background. Hi, I'm Vishwajeetsingh Desurkar. I have been working with Joe Software for last more than 5 years, working as a senior software, predominantly working on Ruby related stuff, but always got fascinated about AI related stuff since my college days. So I always think that why we can't do these sort of things in Ruby. 2 years back in RubyConf India, like 23, I gave a talk on like how we can use machine learning within Ruby itself to deliver some sort of ML-based solutions in Ruby instead of jumping onto Python. Today it's slightly over to the extension of that talk only. So I live in a city built in Rails where I deal with day-to-day tasks are like migrations, controllers, models, views. We pretty much heard about these things, and every day we are doing one of those things. Day after day in this CRUD city. So we are currently living in a CRUD city. It's a reliable, powers the apps that we trust. But whenever AI comes up, like nowadays everywhere, like last year there was a flash talk about similar to the tagline where you often say that आपके toothpaste में नमक है क्या? Nowadays people ask क्या आपके software में AI है क्या? So in that way it comes up like every day somebody is asking about these things. But whenever somebody asks this question, the first thought is go to Python. Pay the giants otherwise. And also leave Ruby behind for AI-based solutions. And how many of you have here heard that Ruby can't do AI? Or they are the ones who are saying that Ruby can't do AI? Can you just raise your hands? Somebody who have heard these things from people saying that Ruby can't do AI. Okay, so that leads to our topic. What if Ruby led the AI revolution? And what if Ruby was the giant in this case where we are able to provide solutions in Ruby itself? So this is the pretty standard question where blue pill, red pill question. Are we going to stay with CRUDs forever? Or can we try to get that challenge where we can integrate, we can utilize AI with Ruby, what we know and what we love about Rubies and all those things. And as you know, and I have seen through my like last 5 years working with a variety of Ruby developers that Ruby developers are always interested or intrigued by the challenges that they have. So we are going to always choose the red pill. And we are into alternate reality where Ruby is the leader in AI. Let's understand the narrative of the alternate reality as well, as we understood the current reality's version. In this world, models aren't just business logic rules. They're also language models. No Python, ditto. Like you don't need to go to Python for solving your problems. No black box APIs from giants. You don't know what is actually happening. You are just utilizing those APIs to solve your problems. Then the challenge I took up that let's build a recommendation engine as we are surrounded by so many e-commerce related giants. This is the pretty much use case that I think about, like can we build this in Ruby itself? So Starting with the data prep, yeah, sorry, my bad. Starting with the data prep. So typically whenever we go through all the AI related stuff, the main crux is how you are preparing the data, how you are pre-processing the data. And in this case, similar to like NumPy in Python, we already got a package way back. Like I have been utilizing this package since last 3 years, I would say. That is the NumNRA, which is kind of give us the scientific calculation related stuffs built in within Ruby itself, instead of jumping onto something else. And it's pretty simple to these things, like you can initialize your matrices, you can do scientific calculation using this library, so that you can prepare your data for the training purposes, which will be our next step, which is the most crucial step. And for training the model, this is our savior, that is the Rumel. So why I'm using this thing, because directly jumping on to saying that all the other things and all, I want to check where can we fine tune certain things, and can we train our model itself on our data to get the results. That's where Rumel will help us. It's pretty simple, like those who have already tried Python and secretly using it, they know these sort of syntaxes from sklearn or scikit-learn. If you already used it, you're just loading. Like currently I'm using clustering, and for that I'm using k-means clustering. And then what I'm doing, I'm just transposing the matrix for training purposes, and then I'm doing the training. This is a simple 4 lines of the code where I'm training that entire model into k-means clustering. And then we can dump it into a JSON file, or like whichever formats we can go. And then the most prominent question every day, like everybody is talking this thing, like can we add some GenA into this one? We are not satisfied. We want some sort of GenA into it, because our initial model will only predict some sort of like matrix related data, but user won't understand. Yes, we can do that. That's where Ruby LLM will be here. And that helps us to integrate all sort of things, not just APIs of integrating. Ruby LLM is actually a single, I would say, like interface by which you can integrate all the paid ones, like the cloud providers of the LLMs, also the local ones, that is utilizing Ollama to interact with the local model that you control, you host, and you have all the data related aspects of it. You can configure it in a simple way, then you can just add your model, configure it for chatting purposes, and then voila, you can have this prompt similar to this. Every day we are doing the prompts, and you can ask it for a response. But as I said, we are building a recommendation engine. That's what I tried. So what will be the response of these things? So I will show you. This is a typical response that I got from our system, where AI is actually suggesting me based on my patterns, like can I upgrade in certain products? Can I want to change in certain categories? But I don't want to read this thing. So I asked AI, can you concise it? It concises it very equally. Like it just concisely tells me like what all things it's suggesting me, and how I can utilize this thing to move ahead as well. But from all those things, what I feel like initially when we started with this thing and utilizing Ollama with Ruby, I often got this question that, is it really Ruby's features or Ollama's features? Because Ollama is giving in that entire interface to it. That's when I felt that in a way, these are like, we can't go and again train all those things. Even while doing, I also code in Python secretly. That I will open it as well. But in Python as well, nowadays, most of the people are utilizing Ollama to interact with the models, because most of the people don't have that GPUs to train that heavy large language models. And then if they are going to utilize it, then what's wrong in utilizing which is already there? And then utilizing native Ruby libraries like Rumel and other libraries to get these data sorted, and we have our basic modeling done. Like you can have another thing like anomaly detection and other things also within this domain itself. Now, the main question arises, just a minute, why this matters? Because, okay, fine, like we are able to do this, but why this matter that, we can move to Python, right? But why this matter that to code these things in Ruby itself? Because every day I'm continuously like listening to people, and there are few people who are saying that who doesn't know how to develop in AI or other things, they'll get die. Like I have been hearing this thing that Ruby is going to be dead since I joined, since I started my journey as a Ruby on Rails developer as an intern. There were so many people, like from my peers, seniors, my juniors who I was giving a training, they were saying that Ruby is going to be dead. And since last 5 years, I have been proving them that Ruby is not dead. It is continuously evolving. It's adapting into the newer changes that are needed in this one. So that's how one should do these things. And that's where Ruby doesn't have to sit out into this AI revolution. Like we are just doing to do the CRUD operations, and somebody else will do the AI related steps, and I will just do the things that I am continuously doing. Second, we are utilizing the open source things. Like we are the entire thing, like the Rumel and other things are completely open sourced. Instead of utilizing expensive APIs that are there. Next one is Rails apps can think, recommend, and adapt. Not just that, because for example, like we have even tried that sort of example as well, where because we are continuously fed up with that example where your client is continuously changing some requirements. Eventually, even though you are just fetching that data from DB, but today the client says that these three sort of details I want it on the UI. I want to fetch it for myself. Tomorrow they will say like I want to add these three things more. And at that case, continuously writing those things instead of, if we are utilizing these tools, we're able to build like, can we directly convert a natural language query into a SQL query and then get that data? Like we can do that in nowadays. And we can solve that side of the problem as well. Instead of investing our time into building those things again and again and again. Now, what's next? Is this the end? Like, are we going to be stopping here? No. There is already been like, I have been following LangChain RB for quite a long time where they have been like a very good optimal level stuff they are doing. So you can utilize this thing to develop a modern days RAG application within Ruby itself. Now, another thing is, I just shown you Numo NRA. There is another package that will help you guide another type of data as well. Like if you are handling a lot of CSV related data and other things, you can use Rover, which is kind of similar. Like it supports data frames, which is like I would say like the building block of AI models within Python. That is via pandas. Rover is built in Ruby itself, and it supports the data frames to handle those type of data. Yeah, sorry. And as I said, machine learning with Rumel. Because Rumel does support a lot of machine learning related, I would say like the training mechanisms and other things, algorithms, that you can utilize to develop these things. And our favorite, integrating GenAI, LLM models, and all the things that are happening around using Ulama plus Ruby LLM. Now, talking about Josh, like I started with another thing like I'm in a CRUD city. So at Josh, you might have already seen that logo everywhere and you have seen the Ruby in it. Like we are that strong into the following of the Ruby. But other than that, we are more into, like you can see here, I'm more or less added a few photos which are related not to about coding things. It's about more or the cultural thing where we have event organizing things. We have one of the photos where we have won the cricket tournament of a corporate cricket tournament in it, and another things as well. That's our day-to-day culture, I would say. Now, I'll leave you with this note that others kind of hide their powers, but since we Ruby people believe in like shipping it with bundle install. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, also you can like the recommendation code. If somebody is interested into it, there is a GitHub repo. You can check that one, which has the code to entire recommendation engine that I have built. Yeah, thank you.